All right, let's take a look at the review. Okay, number one. Number one talks about William Penn. William Penn demonstrated a preference for a republic form of government when his colonial constitution included blank to serve in a legislative assembly. Hannah? Representatives, okay? So he created a representative government, which is a form of what? Self-government, okay? And that form of self-government created in Connecticut was... What's one that was created in Connecticut? Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Okay, one created in Massachusetts. Virginia, House of Burgesses, but the Massachusetts was the Mayflower Compact. Okay. Number two, the blank served as an example of civil disobedience against slavery. Mia.
The Underground Railroad.
Okay, the Underground Railroad, right? Civil disobedience was an essay written by Henry David Thoreau, and he wrote it to encourage people when they don't agree with the law to disobey, to not follow the law, but do it in a civil manner, right? And that's going to inspire Gandhi and MLK. They're inspired by the writings of who, Caleb Purvis? Henry
David Thoreau?
Good. Henry David Thoreau. Okay, was number three. Thoreau. Number four, the Mormons' final settlement was along Salt Lake in what would become what, Devontae? Utah. Okay. Number five, the greatest threat to American democracy was identified as uneducated citizenry. Therefore, the movement to establish what, Emily? Number five. Compulsory attendance, which means like mandatory attendance, okay, is required at schools, right? The excess consumption of alcohol led to broken families and trauma in home. This led to a reform movement known as what, Henry? Temperance, okay. Education reform was promoted with the opening of the first what'd you get, Mia? Public schools. Okay, number 7 was the first public schools. Number 8, the biggest outcome of Dorothea Dix's efforts was the construction of the, what'd you get, Joseph? Separate facilities for those people with mental illness. And then we got to sort the following events into the correct order that the United States acquired them. Okay, Gage, start with Mexican Cession. What number did you get on Mexican Cession?
4.
Okay, 4. The Adams-Ons Treaty? 2. Louisiana Purchase? 1. And Oregon Territory? 3. Okay, the Adams-Ons Treaty is also known as just the acquisition of Florida. That's when the United States got Florida, and it happened in 1819. Okay, while only one state outright banned the sale of alcohol, overall consumption of alcohol was reduced by 50% because of the Talmadge. Number 10. Good, because of the temperance movement. Number 10 is also temperance. Number 11. Reform movements of the 19th century led to separate blank for the mentally ill. What did you get, Caleb Guerreri? Good. Separate facilities for the mentally ill, the blind, deaf, and which individual was a part of that reform movement? Chloe, it's not on there. But who is a part of the reform movement for the mentally ill? They're on one of them. On somebody help them out. Hannah.
Susan B. Anthony.
Okay, Susan B. Anthony is associated with women's suffrage, but who is associated with mentally ill? Henry. Dorothea Dix. Okay. Dorothea Dix was associated with the reform movement. Isn't she on here somewhere?
Yeah, she's on question 5. Or knows. She on
question 8. There it is. I couldn't. Yeah. Okay. So number 11 was separate facilities for the mentally ill. Number 12. While suffrage would not be obtained until the 20th century, women reformers did accomplish a blank in the workday. Javante. Reduction in the workday. Okay. Hannah, who fought for women's suffrage and women reform? Susan B. Anthony. Good. Somebody give me another one.
Katie Stanton.
Good. Gavin. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Okay. Blank had the greatest impact on the survival of Jamestown Colony. What'd you get, Owen? John Smith. Yes. John Smith is correct. Okay, John Smith is associated with Jamestown. He's like one of the founders, and he came up with this concept that if you don't work, you don't eat, right? If you don't help and establish the colony and help work, we're not going to feed you. That was his idea at Jamestown. 14. Freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of religion are all components of what town? Let's go with Calvin.
Erie Canal.
Freedom of 14.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. The bicameral legislature was a result of what, Zoe? 15. The Great Compromise. Good. The Great Compromise was a compromise between what two plans, Chris?
It was the Virginia and New Jersey.
Virginia and New Jersey plan. Okay. 16. The big advance of the steamboat was its ability to travel what, Emily?
Upstream.
Good. It could travel upstream. Okay. Traveling from Independence, Missouri to the northwest corner of the United States is traveling along what, Braden?
The Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail. Okay. Reduction of transportation costs connecting the Great Lake to the Hudson River and the growth of cities are attributed to what, Mia?
The Erie Canal.
The Erie Canal. Good. 18 is Erie Canal. 19. The Mississippi River was impacted by the development of the Chloe. 19. Steamboat. 20. Steamboats in the Mississippi River go together like blank in the Gadsden Purchase. Henry. Railroads in the Gadsden Purchase, right? Why did they want the Gadsden Purchase, Caleb Drary?
Because they wanted to have a railroad.
Wanted to have the railroad, and why did they like that land?
Because it was flat.
It was flat. Very good. 21. Another word for the Fourth Amendment warrant requirement is protection from what, Gavin? Illegal search and seizures. Thoreau would advocate protesting the government by not paying what, Joseph? Unfair taxes. Blank made the telegraph a revolutionary device. What'd you get, Emily?
Instant communication.
Instant communication, right? You could send. What was the name of that communication, Mia?
The 10th
Hold on.
Amendment.
We're still in 23.
No, never mind.
What was the way they sent the telegraphs? They sent the beeps across. What was that called? Morse code. Very good. And the blank establishes federalism or divides power. What'd you get, Henry? The 10th Amendment. Okay, 10th Amendment is the concept of federalism. Dividing the power between the federal government and the states. Okay, this is the review. Study it because the test is on Wednesday.